there we're starting off right with one of those very touchy subjects that we chatted about just before we went on that break, and that's the Dangote dispute and how common ground can be found. A dispute between the Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers and the Dangote Group escalated, nearly leading into a nationwide strike. The core of the conflict centers on the right of the Dangote truck drivers to join a union or to unionize under the NUPENG. However, barely 48 hours after NUPENG suspended its strike action, the union alleged that the management of Dangote Refinery had reneged on the resolutions reached. That's an allegation. We'll find out if that is true in a bit. But we're going to discuss this, and joining us from our Abuja studios this morning is the National President, Nigerian Association of Road Transport Workers, Yusuf Othman. Thank you for joining us this morning. And Billy Gillis-Harry, President of the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, also from our Abuja studios. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the program today. Right, so if we can first start with you, Mr. Othman, how do you think the disagreement between NUPENG and Dangote will affect the chain supply of petroleum products in Nigeria, particularly for retailers, and transporters like yourself?
Thank you so much. I do not think, just like the people who keep complaining, I do not expect that it will drastically affect the supply chain. Why? Because there is enough fuel in the country at the moment, and also because this NUPENG Dangote issue is not just a NUPENG issue. It affects the whole gamut of the downstream. All people in the downstream sector have one or two issues related to this. So, and all the stakeholders, to the best of my knowledge, have one or two or three or even 4 or 5 issues to sort out for us to have sanity and clarity in the system. It is much more than the Dangote NUPENG issue. Fine, Dangote NUPENG issue is a union issue, which to the best of our knowledge and everyone that saw, you will see that truth was reached and signed, but somehow, somewhere, one of the parties to the truth reneged. So that was why there was some relapse. But notwithstanding, the issue at stake is a very serious issue. And this issue needs to be seriously addressed by government, by the Dangote himself. And it's not the issue of Greek gift. We believe that the Dangote is a businessman, and we believe every businessman does his business with a view to get certain returns at the end of the day. So I do not envisage in this case, therefore, that there will be free distribution of petroleum product across the country, especially PMS. And with that, it means, therefore, all other players within the industry are cleared or eliminated. And if such happens, it means that there is a very serious issue in the industry. Don't forget, in this industry, as we speak today, we have about 30,000 trucks distributing fuel across the country. By that virtue, of course, means that we have about 30,000 drivers, and some even spare drivers, some motor boys, and also mean that we have service providers, vulcanizers, food sellers, and the ownership of these vehicles is spread across the whole country. There is no local government in this country where there is no transporter. And these transporters, most of them have been financed by banks across all the country. You know, and also they have, most of them have either formal or informal contracts with marketers.
Alhaji Uthman, just 1 second.
Now,
just 1 second, Alhaji Uthman. Just 1 second, because some of the issues that you are raising, you know, as important as they are, I think it'll be, you know, good to at least start with, you know, the first issue that my colleague, you know, has raised. But if I can take that same question, perhaps rephrased to you, Mr. Gillis-Harry, let's first of all find out, is your association, PETROAN, is PETROAN affiliated with NUPENG?
PETROAN is an organization of employers also. We have owners of retail outlets that make up the membership of PETROAN. Mm. But
no, just to is PETROAN,
just, you know, very
is PETROAN affiliated with NUPENG? In other words, if NUPENG calls for a strike, will PETROAN members also join?
That's what I'm saying there. So if our staff, you know, have decided to join a strike action by their parent body, we cannot penalize them, you know, without facing some kind of reprimand. So PETROAN's support for NUPENG was clearly to ensure that the system is properly situated, and every player, from Dangote Refinery to all the other refineries, to the transport owners, the drivers, the retail outlet staff, you know, we're all intertwined together. So injury to one is injury to all.
Okay. Should there be, let's look at the issues. I know that, you know, you as an individual and your association has had issues with Dangote's, the Dangote Refinery's approach, you know, over some time. You've raised some issues from the time to time. But question that I'd like to ask is, in this particular NUPENG Dangote issue, what for you are the points to note that need to be given attention on both sides?
Well, on both sides, clearly, every one of us, I believe, including NUPENG, is very desirous that Dangote Refinery is very successful, and you know, its advent will stabilize energy security, in addition to other sources of energy that we're going to be getting. So my advice would be Dangote should work very closely with all the stakeholders, because there's nobody that is not happy to see the Dangote Refinery established in Nigeria. And I believe that every one of us is very desirous that the refinery should be successful, because that's the only way we as Nigerians will have consistent availability of petroleum products, in addition to whatever other sources that is coming. But we want to be able to also protect that industry, I mean that refinery. So if the refinery owner or managers are not able to see that the best approach is for a synergy between all the stakeholders, that may not be doing the Dangote, you know, refinery any good. So my thinking is that NUPENG,
before I go back to Mr. Othman,
for instance,
just 1 second. My apologies, Mr. Gillis-Harry. So before I go back to Alhaji Othman, the proposition of Dangote is one, you know, to keep the numbers between 841 in Lagos and Southwest to 851 in Abuja, Kwara, Edo, Rivers, and on like that. That's on the one hand, that direct supply, no intermediary. There is also the segment of people that are saying that one of the reasons that NUPENG is crying foul is because direct supply to your members, you know, retail outlet owners, means that NUPENG will not get the fraction they normally get off of every tanker, you know, that leaves any depot in the country. Can you clarify that for us?
First, let me make this very clear to us. NUPENG, I don't think, is focused on income. NUPENG has been very, very useful in ensuring that the air industry is, you know, sanely organized. You are talking about thousands and thousands of drivers and motorboys and tankers. That is, each of them, there's no tanker today now that will be costing less than 150, 190 million naira. Now, what NUPENG has done has clearly assisted the system to make sure that these tankers are safe. The workers are properly organized to behave with discipline. That, you cannot quantify that in terms of any monetary gain. So what NUPENG has done, and of course, even in this issue, you can see the level of maturity that they have shown, where issues have not, you know, flared up to where Nigerians will suffer, and which is what we in PETROAN advocate for. We have called the government to come in, and government came in, and we are very appreciative of the President Bola Ahmed-led government, the Secretary of Government of Federation, the Minister of Petroleum,
Mr. Gilles-Harris,
Mr.
Gilles-Harris, the question, I understand the point that you're trying to make. I apologize again for butting in. I understand the point that you're trying to make, but just speak to that issue. Is it true or not? I mean, you are right to say that maybe NUPENG is not focusing on the monetary gain, but that's not to say that there is no monetary gain to NUPENG in the argument, is there?
Well, monetary, for every service, there's a reward. But I believe that in this case, the reward is not the focus. It's the efficiency that's more the focus, from what I understand.
Okay.
And all that I believe that can be done is that Dangote Refinery will benefit quite more with an organized system that has been there, you know, way back from the 50s.
Okay. So Alhaji Othman, yeah, we'll come to more of that. My apologies. We'll come to more of that. Alhaji Othman, there are those who say that any resource that goes to NUPENG off of every tank, of every, you know, fragment of fuel that people receive in their vehicles, it automatically goes back to the consumer. That if, for instance, from the depot, the fuel costs 20 naira all-inclusive, and say, for instance, just for instance, that Dangote, NUPENG is going to get 2 naira off of that liter of fuel, what it means that the fuel, your members will sell the fuel to the consumer at 22 naira per liter. Is that correct?
Well, my members are transporters, and as far as I know, the NUPENG is involved in the day-to-day affairs of loading, transit, as well as discharge into tanks. Don't forget also, you will only know this if you are a player in the industry. When you go to load, the area boys you meet, the security on the road, and the challenges on the road, all these are taken care of by the NUPENG. Yes, of course, you will find that there is driver training by PTD NUPENG. There is driver health insurance, driver accident-free bonus in conjunction with NARTO. So it's not just people will think about NUPENG in terms of money. It's far away from that. There is a lot more, but it's only when you are in the system, you know. As much as possible, yes, if you want to get service, you, of course, get certain amount for that. So a few years ago, even in Lagos, you find that some area boys, when you load a vehicle, they'll just climb on your truck. You either pay 1, 2, 3, or 5,000. Otherwise, they will just cut the connection, and the vehicle will have no brake. And they are the same people on the road. You will find that they stop drivers driving in the night. Why? Because there are a lot of illegal activities happening in driving in the night, a lot of hijacks and whatever. And across the country now, if there is any incident, everywhere in this country, the first person, I mean, any incident that affects truck, the first person that appears there is the PTD person, before NARTO appears and other people appear. So it's much more than somebody would imagine, but it's only when you are in the system that you'll be able to appreciate the impacts they do in the industry.
Right, Alhaji.
Like I said the other time,
yeah.
You see, this issue is not just a NUPEN PTD issue. It's quite more than what people from outside envisage. You said 841, 850. In the first place, this PIA Act, this regulation has certain rules and regulations within which all the players must respect. In a situation where one or two bigger players will do what they like, irrespective of what is in the act, then there is impunity. Right. And if there is impunity, then it's unfortunate because it will have no boundaries. The truth of the matter is that the NMDPRA, which is the regulator in the downstream sector, states very clearly, PIA Act 212, that you cannot have you cannot use the same license for refining and use also the same for distribution of petroleum products across the country. It has to be at arm's length, and arm's length means arm's length. If in a situation where you refine, you say, okay, you want to distribute to all those areas that you've mentioned, it means that you have jettisoned all the agreements that other players in industry have with their employers. And it means, therefore, that you sweep everybody. And when you sweep everybody, it means they have monopoly and anti-competition, which is also against
Alhaji, if I can,
Act.
Apologies, if I can come in here. So you've listed a whole lot of things. But what are the real sticking points? There was a meeting. It's alleged that Dangote reneged on all the agreements. What was the agreement? Even at that meeting. So why did everything fall apart yet again?
Yes, because I wouldn't know, because I'm not party to the...
You would have heard about what happened.
Agreement, because... Come again?
I said you would have heard about what happened.
Well, I could only guess, but I know, well, I saw the template of the agreement, MOU, but somehow, somewhere, there were some, I don't know, renege into the agreement, but that is, I believe, would have been sorted by yesterday, to the best of my knowledge, except if something comes up again. But what I'm trying to say, I want you to understand that this issue, there are two issues. One, the issue of NUPEN as regards the unionization. Then the other issue is the issue of the CNG trucks, and also the issue of other, that's why I say the gamut of the downstream. There are a lot of people who are not happy and is pregnant now that the depot owners are not happy. Some of the marketers are not happy. Some of the filling station owners are not happy. So all these issues need to be addressed. And this is because if Alhaji is going to sell the product at international price to everybody without discriminating, and even the discrimination of rates is clearly stated in the PIA Act, that you cannot discriminate. So if everything is going to be sold at international rate without any discrimination, everybody will be happy. At the same time also, if the provisions of the PIA Act are clearly adhered to, there would not be any need, like, say, we are sending 4,000 trucks, because come to think of it, is 4,000 trucks going to be in place? We currently have 30,000 trucks going in the country. Clearly, those 4,000 trucks will not be adequate to meet the demands. Meanwhile, the other people who are currently using, who will not have economy of scale and cannot do free, it means they will stop operation. And if they stop operation, those 4,000 trucks will not be adequate to clearly meet the demand of the nation. So what do? Meanwhile,
just a second, Alhaji.
And you are going to do it.
Alhaji,
we're going to have anarchy.
Yeah, just a second, Alhaji, if you can hear me. My apologies. If you can hear me, in what way is Nupeng or Dangote Refinery right now contravening the Petroleum Industry Act?
At its own cost. Now, if there is a Greek gift that I'm going to do it free, it means there is something at the back. And it is also very dangerous.
Has this issue been raised? My apologies. Has this issue been raised with Dangote refineries? This Greek gift allegation that you're, talking about?
Well, the issue is that the NMDPRA has very clearly written that he needs a license, separate license, to be able to distribute across the country. And this issue is also currently being discussed with the NMDPRA and other relevant, including the security agencies, because this is an issue of national security. We're talking of surrendering the energy security of a country to an individual. We're talking about so many owners of investment across the country.
All right. Let me ask Mr. Gillis-Harry one question that you both have been trying to avoid. That allegation that Nupeng gets a fraction of every liter of petrol in Nigeria and that the cost comes to the consumer, the example that I gave earlier, if ex-depot, it's 20 naira, the allegation that that Dangote could, for instance, say, a bigger partner, Nupeng could say, for instance, that this fraction is coming to us from that liter or from that tanker or whatever. Is it true?
I really don't seem to understand why you think we are dodging to answer that. We have answered it very clearly, and I will just repeat it. That is not the focus, and I don't think that that is accurate. Well, you already told us it's an assumption, so we'll leave it at that. But the fact is, efficient service is being rendered by Nupeng and PTD. Just as PETROAN is also rendering efficient service to ensure that retail outlet owners follow the law and ensure that we sell proper spec, approved spec of petroleum products, and there are no hoarding. And at all times, our stations must be open during business hours to make sure that commuters have access to fuel. So all of us, just like NARTO, doing their own thing to ensure that the industry is stable and Nigerians are the better for it. So the idea of a reward for what services that Nupeng is doing, if we are to compute it in terms of the safety, the type of organization and the discipline that is given out to those who are in charge of moving the tanker, the trailer, truckloads of PMS or diesel or anything from one location to the other, is quite enormous. I'm sure you've heard where trucks have been hijacked.
But this is the opinion of Dangote refineries, from what we understand, is to eliminate all that logistic challenge and cost. That's our understanding. So help me understand if it is different.
So let me ask a very pertinent question. Why is these free trucks not applied into cement? Why is it that it's in a PMS and diesel that will be the focus? So you see, us Nigerians must have to be. We will have stated clearly earlier that we all want Dangote Refinery to be successful. But the success must also trickle down to all the players in the.
Okay, just a quick one, so that we can.
Is just what it is.
Okay, so that we can cap it pointedly, because I haven't really heard the question pointedly. Does Nupeng get a fraction of money from every liter of fuel that Nigerians buy?
Ask them. You wouldn't know.
You are asking a question to me. You should have invited Nupeng to ask them that.
No, I'm asking because
all I know is that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for all I know is that any efficient service that's rendered is worthy of reward. So, but that there is a specific amount that is going to be added to it, and that is what this is all about. That is not correct. Well, I personally have been in the business for for a long time. And I do know that this has been standard practice. We have efficient, distribution of petroleum product that is being done by these associations.
Okay.
And all of their drivers.
We have some messages.
We do have Nigerians have been commenting about it, and they have, their own questions and queries about this situation as well. The first is from Tunde from Surulere. He believes that if Dangote did not build a refinery, won't NUPEC members survive? NUPEC leaders are not happy that things are getting better and their corruption, corruption is going exposed. That's the opinion of a Nigerian, not of ours. But there are other people that also have comments as well.
Yeah. Isa Ahmed Zagreb says, I'm against any organization downplaying labor rights. But let's also note that these unions collect billions of naira in dues, but they can't show a single investment in a hospital for their members, a school, or even a communication framework for oppressed members. Well, Mr. Gillis-Harry, you have said that we should ask NUPEC, so we will ask NUPEC. Next message.
And there's also Festus Akiboyewa from Festac, I think. He said NUPEC's recent actions suggest that they are working against the country's progress and the growth of the private enterprise. Their attempt to force Dangote Refinery employees into union membership, despite the company's independent operations, feels like an effort to benefit from a system they had no hand in building. It's deeply troubling that the same union complicit in the collapse of Nigeria's 4 public refineries now appears intent on obstructing the success of the Dangote Refinery, one of the few promising developments in our energy sector. This behavior isn't about protecting workers, it's about power and profit. If we continue to empower such tactics, we risk sabotaging the very progress we claim we seek. Nigeria must choose protect innovation and private investment or remain hostage to interests that have repeatedly failed the nation.
There's actually another message along that line. It's from Gani Alishobande. Please, my honest and sincere question is, where was NUPEC when NNPC lied that the refineries were working and loading was going on? Well, this is his opinion. Whether or not NNPC lied, let NNPC also come out and explain to them. But is there a reaction from you, Alhaji Othman, about any of these messages that you have listened to from Nigerians watching and listening to you right now?
Yeah, thank you so much. My reaction is that people don't, most commentators or who you call them, they do not actually understand the real deal here. This is just beyond what they are saying. See, this is a capture of the whole industry. It's a capture of the whole industry. What I'm trying to say is, for example, if you look at cross river states, they have a lot of depots. River states, they have a lot of depots. Edo State, they have a lot of depots. Delta, they have a lot of depots. So the plan is to collapse every person. Every person, they have finances. Some people are talking about, if you combine the total investment of the people in the downstream, it's much more than the single investment. So now everybody is going to collapse because of this thing. What we are saying, Alhaji should, apart from the union issue, should leave and let other people live. There is nothing like inefficiency in the system. No, there is as it goes. Let me give you are based in Lagos. When they brought BRT buses in Lagos, did they clear the dumpo? When they brought those tipper for refuse collection, did they clear the others? There is livelihood. People live on these things. People live on these things. And if there is phasing out, it's gradual phase out. Not just come and say, okay, everybody should go because the big brother is around.
I'm a little bit fuddled, Alhaji. I'm a little surprised, because maybe I don't understand. In what way would you say anyone is making any attempt to ostracize any sector of the energy industry, because I don't know if you have read the report or the statement of the NNP, beg your pardon, of the Dangote Refineries and Petrochemicals. Their opinion is they are co-partners with others. They cited Bua, also coming, Bua Refineries also coming on, Aradel, Smith, as other refineries also coming up. So how can one person, which you rightly said, cannot fully supply the entire nation with 4,000 trucks, how can they take the place of 30,000 trucks? I'm just trying to understand.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm glad you spoke about the Bua, Walter Smith, and other. What they are doing with the free distribution is take strategic position and kill every other person that is currently in the system and every other person that will come in the future. Because as we speak, if you say you are going to do this business activity free of charge, then that is a mission. It's a great gift. And also because you are trying to take strategic position against those that will come in the future. Because by the time they come in the future, nobody will be able, you have already taken your strategic position, nobody will come and get into the market. And this is what is happening. This is exactly what is happening. It's monopolistic and anti-competition. Whether you accept or whether you look at it is subject to interpretation, but this is our own opinion.
Right, right. So you just talked about it being anti-competition. Mr. Gillis-Harris, do you think that Dangote's entry into the downstream sector will actually increase competition on the long run and benefit consumers, or do you think it will lead to monopolization, as he has just said? This is early days. The refinery just, started working not too long ago, and I think, things are just settling down. So did you actually share this school of thought?
We appreciate the coming of Dangote Refinery, and we pray that God Almighty will help him to continue to have more refineries. But at the same time, the scheme, the mode of operandi is what is
Sorry, Alaji, that question is for Mr. Gillis-Harris.
Okay. Well, we are all affected in this one way or the other. So whatever questions that you ask, I believe if you ask some other stakeholders, the answers will not be too different from what you are getting from us. Well, let me state that Dangote's refinery is a very welcome idea. And personally, and as an association, we appreciate that. And I believe all stakeholders appreciate that. I thought that what Dangote Refinery should do is to get the stakeholders to work to deepen and ensure that the products coming from Dangote Refinery is taken to the deepest and the farthest part of Nigeria through this established stakeholder system that has been very efficient. So competition will be something that the industry needs, because it's competition that will keep driving efficient service, affordable pricing, and obedience to the law of what the PIA has already prescribed. So we welcome Dangote's investment, we welcome his participation, but the method of entering into the market as of this time, I will consider it not stakeholder friendly, because Dangote has a refinery that depot owners could easily take 20, 30,000 metric tons from him and take to their depots. And then marketers will be able to assess that, and we retail outlet owners can also now assess the product and be able to provide service in the grassroots service, because we are the last mile in the industry. So we welcome that, and we also welcome other sources of supply That is the point. But if Dangote's refinery has capacity to give us what we need in Nigeria, and we have a very friendly business environment, everybody wants to take from him. Whether it's Mehman, whether it's Dapman, whether it's Petrol, whether it's NARTO. And don't forget that all of these the service providers have been doing so very efficiently. So we can only improve more. So there's no need to be bullish about it. There will be just a simple stakeholder convergence. And then we look at what is best on how to serve Nigerians. So, but this method now is bringing quite a little bit of a bad blood because we are saying this. You are telling us what you think because you believe that you are going to buy product at 841 naira per liter. 841 naira per liter, how many days are you going to do that? How many months? How many years? In the very before, you've seen prices go up and prices come down just like a yo-yo at the same time. So those prices, were they even at any time being determined by the market forces? So we have to understand that we in the industry already understand that this tactics is aimed to, dismember us. And at the end of the day, we'll all go back looking to buy net and go back to fish or do one farming thing or the other. And then what is going to happen with Nigerians who need this retinue of retail outlets that's going to be serving them?
Right. So what do you make of...
We want to encourage Dangote to be successful, but let him encourage us also to work together. So that's all.
What do you make of the mediation process, the government's intervention? Do you think it was necessary, or do you think it's going to have some long-term effects on the industry?
Sorry, which mediation? The mediation of the government?
Yeah,
yes.
the intervention, rather, of the government, the meeting that was held.
It's a very good one, because if government did not intervene in the way they've done, and that's why we give credit to all of the people who made that work. Every one of us, every one of them, from the president down to the least officer that made it work, we congratulate Nigerians and also thank them for it and keep, telling them to do what is right, to mediate between us and always make sure there's peace. So without that intervention, nobody knows what would have happened today. We appreciate it, and we think that all of us should just follow the terms of that agreement and bring the industry to normalcy. And the other additional thing is simple. These 4,000 or 10,000 trucks, we want to see it as addition of infrastructure into the system to be able to give better service. It shouldn't come to be the reason why certain levels of competition can come in and create problems. I want to draw your attention to the era when NNPC used to have product in their station, and the price of PMS there was quite low than other stations. So what happens? You will see queues going around, meandering around streets all over the place. And then we retail outlet owners will continue to have issues without being able to sell our own products. That has happened in our very eyes. So we should be able to learn from past experiences and ensure that today is better and tomorrow is even better.
Well, Mr. Harry, just a second, we're wrapping up. But this question is for Alhaji Othman. And it's coming from Uchechukwu Aguele. He writes and asks us to ask you this question. And I think this question might even affect you and your business, because there was an era in this country where fuel supply was done through pipes. There were no road trucks moving fuel from one place to the other. So Uchechukwu Aguele is asking, if there were pipelines, will Nupeng still have a place?
They will still have a place because pipelines don't go direct to filling stations. They can go to certain areas, just like it happens in some countries. Well, in some countries, developed countries, they can go even direct to filling stations. Previous times in this country, pipelines go to depot, then from depot to the filling station. And that is a more efficient system. We appreciate that. And that will even, safeguard the road infrastructure that we have. Let me also inform you that whoever is asking, not you, Ayo, that the complaint that we have and the depot owners have is that, according to the current plan, fuel will come directly with trucks from Lagos to every nook and cranny of the country, as against the depots in Calabar that are closer can supply some areas within Uyo and whatever, even to the Taraba state. Yeah. As against depot in Port Harcourt that can supply, as against depots in Delta. Every fuel that is coming from truck will come from Lagos. Imagine the degradation, the road degradation and whatever. And all those depot owners, they also have their own trucks to service them. They have hired people to service them all across the country. So meaning that, according to the current scheme or plan, is that everybody will collapse.
Right.
So only the allergic trucks, and I mean, how does it look?
Be that as it may. Apologies, Alaji. Be that as it may. You know, people are still asking more questions, and this is from Abolaji Bayo. And of course, you know, you've said that you're not Nupeng, but I'm sure they can hear us. And I'm sure this will still be discussed in those circles. He says, has Dangote ever stopped Nupeng from partnering with other filling stations? There's several questions here. Does Dangote stop Nupeng from petrol lifting in its refinery? Why does Nupeng always resist improvement in its operations? And they've resisted, you know, with several governments when it comes to all these issues of distribution of petroleum products.
Well, I don't want to believe that that they have been stopped or they stopped. There is a cordial relationship between the Dangote group and all other unions, not only Nupeng. We have very cordial relationship with Dangote Group as far as NARTO is concerned, and PETROAN and so many others. And of course, irrespective of the current quagmire, we look forward to a better relationship, and we'll also talk to Alaji to see reason why others should survive while he's surviving. That is just all this is for other people to survive while he's surviving, not that everybody should collapse while he survives.
I really wish we could, and I'm sure that here at Channels Television, we're going to have to ask some of these questions directly from Nupeng themselves, because the kind of comments we are getting from people, those questions are targeted at them. And the reason we're asking you these questions is because of your affiliation. So let me ask you, Mr. Gillis Harry, there was a story that made the rounds, and it's also part of the statement from Nupeng over the weekend, well, I think it was yesterday, saying that it was the same Nupeng, your affiliates, that resisted previous governments from selling the refinery. In fact, they said that this their organization, Dangote Refineries and Petrochemicals, was part of that company at the time that wanted to offtake the privatization of the 4 refineries that was resisted at the time. And now that there is a private refinery, they're still having issues. Add to that the fact that Alhaji Dangote Refinery himself said something in the region of $18 billion has been spent on trying to turn around the 4 refineries without any significant turnaround to show for it. I really wish you could at least say, I mean, you're an industry operator. You should have an idea of some of these things.
Well, we do have the idea, and we know what has happened. The very straightforward, progressive thing that I would say is that if we have gotten it wrong yesterday, does that mean that we should get it wrong today? And does that mean that we cannot get it right into the future? We can get it right. So for me, it's a very simple decision. Alhaji Dangote, with all the stakeholders, should be able to work together on the round table. We can be able to look at everybody and say, this is right, this is not right. There's no need for any flexing of any kind of muscle. We are ready to work with them. PETROAN is ready to work with them. NARTO is ready to work. Every one of us, to my knowledge, because we have communications. So all that is missing is that we need us to sit down on a round table and look at how the progress of this country can be made, and how, because we don't even want anything to happen to Dangote's refinery. We want it to be successful. We want it to grow, just like we're asking for NNPC to also ensure that the refinery grows either by privatization or by whatever means, but it must belong to Nigerians. So that is that's where we are. So let us take the message home that we all want to make sure that Dangote Refinery is successful. But that success should carry everybody along. That's all.
Okay. So in your opinion, Mr. Gillis-Harry, what is missing so far? As you have both of you have given us the privilege to understand, there is no resistance from anyone, not even from Dangote Refinery, that any member of NUPENG should not lift fuel. So if they are trying to ensure, for instance, that if there is a perception that there is resistance to their operations, I think it's only business sense. You're a businessman. To find a way to ensure that your business doesn't go under, if anything, $20 billion is no joke. So you want not only to ensure that the business survives, but as you said, that everyone should, work well in it, but not at the risk of shortchanging the people that we are supposed to service. I think that is one of the concerns. This is just me hypothesizing, the Dangote Refinery. So what, in your opinion, is the way forward? What are the considerations to have?
The way forward is not difficult. It's very, very simple. Dangote Refinery is here, makes all feel very proud. It makes us to have 3/4 chips on our shoulders. Dangote Refinery, all the stakeholders, even at this instance, possibly with the regulators, and we say, look, this is the way it's going to be. We have made a law. If the law is not as efficient as we expect it to be, we make corrections. If there are things that need to be done to ensure that Dangote Refinery is very successful, it just needs to do that. We are all willing. The depot marketers are willing to buy product from him, but sell by vessel so that they can easily transport from Lagos to Port Harcourt, Calabar, Warri, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Those are the solutions. Then the trucks that he has brought in, they are good infrastructural inclusion into the transportation network.
Right.
Let the NARTO system that's working with them work with them so that these trucks can now serve even more efficiently. That's just the only missing thing.
Right.
And once that is done, we can all go to sleep and serve Nigerians better.
Right. Very interesting.
Also, for your information, there is no time Nigerians will not be the better for it when the entire system is efficient. Because nobody is going to be selling products at their will, but they will always sell according to what the market forces will determine.
Right. Thank you for your time. I must thank you for this conversation. The two gentlemen that joined us from our Abuja studios, Alhaji Yusuf Othman, National President, Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, and Billy Gillis-Harry, President of the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your thoughts with us this morning.
Thank you so much.